We're just now ranting about our own. Okay.
I know, and actually, I have you guys still friends or? And they're almost as me, like you said, I just work on close from it. And like, you've done a handwritten copy for great, you take it up and it's just like, and it's just like, all right, well, I don't care if you do it, you guys do it, we're still having all.
And so
She does it every month, and then she has a separate issue, like, say, like, they should, I just take all the out.
It did or did not? Did parent, was it a parent thing or?
And bring it.
I thought, see, posting.
Okay. And then it's just kind of
That makes you
study it, you're just copying and pasting or whatever you're doing. So it's not even-
Okay, let's bring it to a close, 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about what's gonna happen next. So I'm gonna identify, there we go. I'm going to identify the actors. I did, thank you. Perfect.
We're all for it.
Yeah, you guys are great. I'm gonna identify from each table one actor. The actors are the main speakers. We're gonna bring up 5 chairs up here. Looking back, what I should have done, and so you can learn from my lesson, I think I would have made name tags to wear. I think that would have been good. And you'll remember soon enough who's who, but anyway. So we'll bring the main characters up here. I'm gonna be the moderator, and I'm going to call on each of the characters to present their case, their viewpoint. And then those of you that are not up here, you are going to be members of the media. So members of the media, the non-actors, will be preparing to report on this meeting. So you guys are taking notes. Well, the actors are taking notes as well. So even though you you're playing the part of holding a particular viewpoint, you're actually responsible for all the viewpoints. So you're going to want to take your notes on what the others are saying and so forth. So that's what's going to happen. And after I call on all 5 of our actors to present their viewpoint, then I'm going to open it up for questions for the media. And the actors, you guys can ask questions of each other. I want you to enjoy this. I want you to have fun with it and relax and sort of play your part. But at the same time, sometimes when there's controversy, you know, we can like get maybe too into character and take away from really the point of this is about the learning, right? The acting is kind of the fun part, so you can kind of own that role. But the learning needs to be about these different viewpoints, and ultimately, you're going to decide what your policy is and what your viewpoint is, and you're going to write a little philosophy, or I'm going to give you some options. I'm going to differentiate your assessment, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. So, I would like, Carlton, you're going to be a parent, so if you'll bring your chair up here, and Becca, you're going to be the teacher. So the parent is Mr., or in this case, Miss Dees, and the teacher is Mrs. Donnelly, and the principal is not Mr. but Miss Hardy, and the student is Curtis, and then Mr. Freeland. So if you'll bring your chairs up, we're going to take the stage, and I'll turn off the screen in the back so that the light is not in your eyes. Members of the media, you get front and center. The room is filled with parents and teachers and people from the community, students who have a vested interest in this whole controversy and discussion. So, I'll make sure that we can see our panel there. Excellent. Again, you all will be jotting down what you're learning. So, welcome to our public hearing on Overlay High School's new policy on not giving a grade for homework. We have with us today Miss, now that I posted, I need the name tag so I can remember. Miss Hardy. Miss Hardy, if you'll wave your hand. Miss Hardy is the principal of Overlay High School. And in just a moment, we're going to start with her comments. And then we have Miss Donnelly. Miss Donnelly, if you'll wave your hand. She is a teacher at Overlay High School. And then we have Miss Dees, a parent of Curtis here, who's in the 11th grade. So a parent-student pair. And then we have Mr. Freeling. Mr. Freeling has 2 children. His children are not at Overlay High School yet, but they presumably will be coming in the future. So welcome to our families and our community for coming to our public hearing. Thank you, press, for covering this important meeting. So Ms. Hardy, I would like to start with you and ask you to please present, tell us why. Why is Overlay High School adopting this policy?
Well, media people. The stress level that homework has brought to the students has gotten out of control. And just through recent studies we have done, it has been found that homework has not been as meaningful as we thought it was, and has not been making the educational impact that we wanted it to make on our students. So the question I'm asking is, why would we assign students this countless amount of homework that takes up so much of their personal lives when it's not really making a difference? Our goal is to have more standard-based learning. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that I want to eliminate homework altogether, because I do feel like there needs to be some middle ground made. I just want homework to be made more meaningful and just like manageable for students. There's been instances where 2nd grade students have been crying to their moms about the amount and stress that their homework brings to them. So I feel like we should just all work together to help these students learn better, not stress them out. Because that's not the point of education. The point of education is not to be stressed, it's to learn. And when you're so stressed out, sometimes your brain doesn't function in order to do that. So I feel like we should work together to create a better homework assessing process.
So what I'm hearing you say, Principal Hardy, is that you're not against homework, but that you want it to be manageable and meaningful.
Right, correct.
But still not taking a grade for it. Is there a reason why you wouldn't take a grade for it?
I feel like all students learn and do well in different aspects of the classroom. So I feel like we shouldn't focus strictly on grading the homework, because a lot of students don't excel well in homework grades just because that's not the best assessment to use for that particular student. So maybe we should work together to come up with different assessments for different students, just assessing them differently in the ways that they learn the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Donnelly, you are a teacher at Overlay High School, and an academic teacher who is known to be very rigorous, and have been known to assign quite a bit of homework. Would you please give us your stance on this policy?
Okay, well, I believe that homework should still be assigned, maybe not graded to a degree, since some assignments are very wholesome. How are we gonna know if they are supervised while doing it at home? They're not professionally supervised, so if they're doing it wrong, they're gonna be practicing mistakes over and over again. So having them at least complete the assignment and give maybe a completion grade, whether or not it's all correct or not. At least some kind of homework needs to be done to extend what they have learned in class. It's just going to depend on their motivation, their family encouragement, and the type of homework assigned as to if it actually does get done.
Okay, so, I'm hearing you say that you are going to assign homework. Do you have any research to back up your feelings on homework?
Yes, we have some articles.
Okay. Okay. We'll let you think on that. Ms. Dees, as a parent of a junior at Overlake High School, please give us your viewpoint on homework.
Well, for me, my primary frustration is that I expect my son to be prepared for college simply because one of the main arguments that I heard from Mrs. Hardy was that homework is stressful and it's stressing kids out. Well, that's all good and well, but if we're teaching kids that there's not stress in the real world, that's one of the most unrealistic things I think I've ever heard. I think we all cry at some point during school and we get through it. And then, I mean, my goal right now is to find out what the information, like why the school wouldn't count homework for a grade. Just because I want my son to be prepared for college and I know he'll have homework and I know he'll have accountability assignments like that. To me, this sounds like a discussion that needs to happen within the administration at the school. It sounds like they still want to assign homework. They just want it to be more relevant for the students. So at that point, this sounds kind of like an incomplete plan. Just because if they need to assign more relevant homework, that's really more on the teachers rather than the students and the parents. The teachers need to come up with better ways to be accountable for that. And the article I have in front of me is from the Educational Leadership, and it has pros and cons for homework and some interesting things that I found were even in the cons of homework, it still was saying that if a district or school discards homework altogether, it will be throwing away a powerful instructional tool. So like it said, just creating more relevant homework assignments that are appropriate for student assessment, because how can you assess my students' learning if you don't ever assign any assessment tools? Giving them one test or giving them daily quizzes, like, that's fine, but that'll take up your classroom time. So if y'all are comfortable with building in more, time into the school day, you're gonna have to, according to this article, you're gonna have to lengthen school days. And we're woefully behind other countries in educational requirements. So the fact that we're talking about lessening the rigorous material that we give to students whenever other countries are doing 2 hours more homework than we are already, and they're way above us in the educational field. So I don't know, I feel like it's pretty ineffective. And then she made one really good point that education is preparation for learning, but also education is preparation for the real world. And if we're not giving students any type of accountability with a grade or anything like that, they show up and they haven't done anything, what are we teaching them?
Okay, good points. And you may have counterpoints. You'll write down your comments and we'll come back around in just a moment, because we'd like to give Curtis a chance to speak. He's our 11th grade student, junior at Overlake High School, and we invited him to speak. And Curtis, feel free to speak your mind. Your mom has agreed not to punish you for your comments. So what is your take on this?
Well, you see, I'm 11th grade, y'all, it was just said, and I live this every day. Y'all can look at it from the outside of it. And it's nice, things were probably different whenever y'all were in high school and y'all probably didn't have as much homework and stuff. But I believe there needs to be some homework, but just not as much as there has been here recently. Because being in 11th grade, mom wants me to get a job, I have to pay for this, I have to pay for that. But I'm also a basketball and football star, as y'all probably seen me on ESPN the other day. And just trying to balance all this while working and trying to do homework, it's just really putting stress on my life, which, as mom said, stress is good because there's always going to be stress, but high school is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life. You're supposed to enjoy your time. And whenever I can't even enjoy my Friday nights after my football game with my buddies because I have to go home and do a paper, it's just really upsetting. But as I said, I feel like there needs to be some, just not as much. Like maybe 4 to 5 assignments a week, about an hour long. So you say 4 or 5 hours of homework, not too much, not too little, and everybody's happy because mom's happy because I have homework and I'm stressed. Principal's happy because it's not as much, so, I mean, I guess it's just torture for what I put her through. But, I mean, I feel like if a teacher is gonna give homework, it needs to be used to teach, like, skills that we know very well. Because if you're throwing complex skills at us that we have not fully been taught, we'll never get the homework done correctly. It's like my coaches have said in the past, practice makes perfect. Well, no, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So I can sit around and do homework wrong all night, but I'm not gonna get anywhere.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, finally, we have Mr. Freeling, who is a parent of future Overlake High School students. And Mr. Freeling, thank you for joining us. Would you share your viewpoints?
Now, I am the loving father of a sixth grade daughter named Jenny and a fourth grade son named Chase. Now, Jenny, she got it going good. You just let her go and she does her homework. Now, Chase, I can't get him to do anything. I have to yell at him and nag him all night long. He don't like it, I don't like it. And he just hates school now because of it. And
So he hates school because he has to do homework?
Yeah.
Me too.
and when I'm helping him out with his homework, I don't know what it's talking about. I don't get what the point of it is, and he don't either. And I did some research. I found some articles. I used the Googles, as they say. The amount of time spent on homework is up since 1981. I remember that year fondly.
So, like,
And I learned from the Googles that I gotta connect.
okay, deep breath, deep breath.
Sorry.
Too much homework brings about diminishing returns. Some each night makes them good for homework, but more than 60 to 90 for middle school, which my kids have, and 2 hours, and this is a night for high school is too much, and they actually get worse grades on the tests. And one smart guy, let's see, what was his name? I done forgot what his name is, but this one smart guy, he said that if students lose interest in learning because of homework, it's unforgivable. And I got 2 different solutions for you, Principal. One is, this smart guy said that no homework is best, only for certain family building stuff like family history, like my time abroad, and my wonderful wife's time in the sewing corps. So, it is good. I don't mind that. Teach them to cook. That's good chemistry. I get to eat that. It's good.
Oh, I sound like Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, just rolling with it at this point. Okay.
So you got any research to back up your?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I got articles from the Google.
all right.
Another one which wasn't so severe, I kind of like it a little better, is to restrict homework to 10 minutes per grade level with no vacation homework and only like 2 major tests a week and definitely no Monday tests. Nobody likes a test on Monday. That's all I got.
He sounds like a southern lawyer from Alabama.
Sounds like Bobby Boucher from Waterwood.
Good, okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Freeling, for sharing your viewpoints. Now, I'd like to open it up to the media. I'm sure that you all, I see that you're taking notes and probably have some questions. If you'll just indicate by raising your hand a little bit so I can call on people to keep it orderly. Also, folks on the panel, you're welcome to continue if you've got some rebuttals or responses. So we'll open it up for questions. Yes, Madison.
Okay, I have a question. So if we're not taking grades for homework anymore, how do you plan to motivate the students to do their homework? If you're not taking a grade for administration teacher, whoever.
Yeah.
What you gotta do?
Maybe I can
Yeah, chime in there,
chime in.
teach.
Like I mentioned earlier, maybe we could do like just a completion grade. Like if they did it, then they get, if they did it and you can see that they actually put some type of effort and time into it, just give them a completion grade. Maybe it counts maybe a small portion of their final grade.
Maybe count it towards like towards, you know, like the participation grade, it's like, you know, worth a little bit, but it's not gonna kill your grade. So that might be like an incentive for them to want to do their homework. I'm not necessarily saying that we're gonna even, that's just an idea, that may be reformed. Because that makes no sense, yeah. I just want students to learn to their best ability in the classroom and just, I want to assign them homework just like Chris was saying, like, I mean, yeah. And his parent, number 2, was saying, they should just limit the amount of homework we give them.
All right, Curtis, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, about this completion grade. Alright, so once I get out of practice, I call my boy up, smart kid in class, I don't even know his name, just smart kid in class on my phone. But he'll just send me a picture of it, and I'll just write down the answers, and there's my completion grade. But then if we're making it a small percent, say it's 5% of my grade, oh, I make 100 on all